Hi, boys and girls. Myself is CMA Vikita. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever, whenever watching my lectures, enjoy the classes. So, we are going to start with a new chapter that is the bailment. What is bailment? How do you go ahead with bailment? What are the different parties which are involved in bailment? As till now, as we have already completed the two chapters, the main important, the starting chapters, the indemnity and guarantee chapter, I think you got a clarity that these Indian Contract Act chapters have parties involved in it. If there is parties, there is contract between the parties, then comes that particular term or the terminology or the chapter which we are understanding. Okay, according to the circumstances, according to the situations, according to the conduct of the parties, it can be implied, it can be expressed. Okay, so what we are going to learn now from today's class, today's lectures we are going to start is the bailment, and the next will be completing, we'll do the pledge chapter. Okay, pledge is having a very less and a small sections. Bailment, as you can see on the screen, it is covering a lot many sections, section 148 till section 171. As already I have told you that you need to make a record of what are the sections, make a serial number, make a record of section numbers, section names, and in which page it is in our Srishta material, and in which page you have written about it in your copy while you are reading. Okay, why is this required? This particular layout is required, of layout of the sections or summarized way of sections is required. Why? Because before exam, before you have very less time to make it, effective, so that you don't start jumbling or confused that which section is what, and so everything will be there in 1 or 2 pages. So just make, before we start with any new chapter, make 1 page or so, leave that 1 page. According to your handwriting, you can leave 1 or 2 pages and make the same format which I said you as the index of the sections, so that it's very very effective. Trust me, do it now, take more 5 minutes, do it, pause my video, do it. Why? Because if you don't do it now, later you can never do it, you will never get time. As you can see, our CA intersyllabus is very big. You have 8 subjects to study, boys and girls. That much of power, that much of patience, that much of willpower, that much of dedication is really really required. And these all things will only work with your positive mindset up, positive face, happy smile, and very much eager to study. These all things are very much necessary for passing or studying, or the duration of your preparation. Done. So we are going ahead with the bailment, section 148 till 171. As we go towards inside the chapter, we are going to cover 1111 sections. Okay, so make sure that you write down those sections after you study it, right? Where you write down in the index of the sections, right? Okay, now going ahead with the everyone, we are in contract of bailment. Okay, so what is contract of bailment? Contract of bailment is discussed in section 148. Section 148 is saying what? It's saying that there is a bailment. Okay, now we have to understand what is bailment. I'll tell you what is bailment with an example. First we'll understand an example. Okay, now what has happened is, this is Gaga. Lady Gaga, Lady Gaga. Okay, that is what Lady Gaga she is. Okay, this is Lady Gaga. What she has done is, she has a car. She has a car. Now, what happened to this car? As she has this car, she wanted to give it for servicing of car. So what she did, she went to the service center, and she has a Maruti Suzuki car. Okay. So she went to the service center. This is the service center of Maruti Suzuki. Okay. She went and she said, I want the servicing of the car. Please do the servicing so that I can use it in my journey from tomorrow. Okay. So the repairs and maintenance and all the related things which are required for the servicing of the car is being done here, right? So when now this car is in the shed, okay, in the shed of the service center. As and when you have this car in the service center, it is the service center's duty to make sure to repair, to maintain, to check every single thing, whether the parts are properly functioning or not, whether the brake is correct or not, whether gear is working nicely or not, whether clutch is tight or fast, whether the tires are properly fit or not, whether there is proper pump system or not. Everything will have to be checked by the service center, right? And what the service center person, this is Mr. P, who is a person or who is going to take care of this car in the service center. This person checked the car for just 5 to 10 minutes and gave a receipt. Okay, gave a receipt. This is what receipt. Receipt, he said that these are some things which will be replaced and it will be rupees 10,000. 10,000. Okay. And you can take back the car after 2 days. Okay, then Lady Gaga said, okay, rupees 10,000 for the repairs and maintenance. I will give you everything and you give me back the car after 2 days. I'll come and take the car. Now what has happened? The car is in the hands of the service center, right? So what is now bailment? Okay. Now, when you are delivering the goods, now what is delivering of the goods? Delivering of the goods means this is the goods. What is this? What is this? This is goods, right? So when you're delivering this goods to where? To the service center. Means are you giving your car to him for the whole time? No, you're not giving the car to him for the whole time. You're giving the car for a particular purpose. What is a particular purpose? The purpose here is repair and maintenance and servicing of the car. As and when the repair and maintenance and the servicing of the car is done and properly maintained, the car is being returned by Mr. P to whom? To Lady Gaga, right? So when here comes the very nicely explained concept, that is bailment. What does bailment speak about? Bailment speaks about there is a delivery of your goods to another person. To whom? Delivery of my goods, delivery of goods by one person, that is Lady Gaga, to another person, that is Mr. P of the service center, for some purpose. What is the purpose? Servicing of the car. Okay, upon a contract, there is a contract between them that as and when the servicing is done. See, he said, the service center person, Mr. P, said what? After 2 days you can come and take back the car, right? And as and when the purpose is accomplished, the servicing is done, the goods, this car is being returned back to again to Miss Gaga, Lady Gaga, right? If not returned also, it will be disposed of according to the owner of the goods, because this is the owner of the goods. As the owner says, it will be disposed of. I think you got it. I think you got this simple, very nice example, right? Now going ahead, let's understand the concept. Now here I have explained you this meaning. Now we will read it once. Second time we are reading. Okay, bailment is the delivery Bailment is what? Is the Bailment is the delivery of goods by one person to another for what? For a specific or some purpose upon a contract that the goods shall, when the purpose is accomplished, be returned or otherwise disposed of according to the directions of a person delivering them. Okay, so what is bailment? As per section, ma'am, as per section 148, what is bailment? Bailment says that it is delivering of goods from one person to another person for what? For a specific purpose, for a purpose which is done in a contract. As and when the purpose is accomplished, you are going to return back the goods to the owner, or you have to do according, dispose of the goods according to the owner's specifications. Done? Very good. Now, obviously, you must have thought, why this name bailment? Yeah. First thing, this is a word which has been got from the French word called the bailer. Okay, called the bailer. What does bailer speak about? Bailer says that to deliver. So in the French language, they say to, like, if they have to deliver the goods to someone, they say they say this word bailer. Okay, from that particular derivation, you got the word called bailment, the concept called bailment. Got it? So it is saying that it means hand. It is meaning that handing over or changing of possession. See, what is handing over or changing of possession? Now, when you see that this Lady Gaga has given the car to whom? To the service center. Okay, that means she is transferring its goods and changing the position of the goods for some purpose. Means she is handing over the goods to the other party or the other person, but the ownership is not changed. The position of the goods have been changed for a particular purpose. Got it? For a particular purpose. Now, as you see, Indian Contract Act is filled with the different very special purpose acts. Okay, like special purpose concepts on the contracts. So like in indemnity, like a guarantee, like bailment, what has happened is every contract is having any some parties which are involved in the contract. It cannot be done individually. There should be some other party counterattacking you. So as you see in the bailment chapter, we have two parties which are required. One is the bailer, okay, and one is the bailee. Okay, one is the bailer and one is the bailee. Who is the bailer? Lady Gaga is the bailer, and service center Mr. P and the service center is the bailee. Now, what does it say? Now, you say me that Mrs. Gaga, here you see Mrs. Gaga has given the goods, delivered the goods to whom? To the service center. Means this person is the owner, that is the bailer, and this person is the bailee, or this party is the bailee. Okay, so you see the person delivering the goods is the bailer. The person to whom the goods are delivered is the bailee. Okay, bailer means the person who is giving the goods, and this person who is receiving the goods is the bailee. Done? Okay, now coming to some different very nice extraordinary examples. Let's see those examples. Now I'll tell you one example, very nice example is, Okay, so the first example we have seen is Mrs. Gaga or Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga giving the car to the service center, Mr. P. Okay, here this is the bailer, this is the bailee, and the goods which are being delivered is this goods. Fine. Next, second example I'll say you is what has happened is this is Mr. Suresh. Mr. Suresh has bought a cloth. Okay, cloth. What is cloth? You know, you have a cloth material like to be stitched, unstitched part. Okay, this is the cloth. And what does he want is he has to go and attend a marriage. So before he attends a marriage, he wants a cloth to be fit according to his measurement, and it should be according to a kurta model. You know, kurta model in weddings you wear kurta model, right? So this cloth he takes it to the tailor. Okay, Mr. Tailor. Now what has happened is he gives the measurements to the tailor and he gives the cloths to the tailor and says make it stretch within a week. Okay, right, within a week. Now the tailor says, sir, you come after exactly after a week. I will make it stretched according to your specifications, according to your measurements, right? So what has happened is Baylor is who? Baylor is Suresh. He has given cloth. This is goods, which has been delivered to handing over the goods to Mr. Taylor for what? For a purpose, that is this cloth is being molded into a kurta model, right? Kurta model. Okay. So after 1 week, okay, after 1 week, Mr. Taylor has completed the particular cloth into kurta model, and he is waiting for Mr. Suresh to take back the goods. So here you see this baler, this is Bailey, right? So these are goods. So if you see, for a specific purpose, this particular goods are being given to another person, okay, for a specific purpose, and the as and when the purpose is accomplished, the goods are being returned back to Mr. Suresh. This is one example of bailment. Now coming to the third example. Third example, okay. Okay, this is Mr. Ramesh. Mr. Ramesh and Mrs. Ramesh have a dog. Have a dog. have a dog. Okay. Now they are Mr. Ramesh and Mrs. Ramesh have decided to go to a trip for 10 days. So as and when they decide that they have to go to a trip for 10 days, they are thinking that what to do with the dog. They can't take the dog to the trip, right? Obviously they can't. Now they have requested Mr. Neighbor, Mr. Neighbor to take care of the dog, for specific 10 days. As and when they return after 10 days, they will take back the dog. Okay. Now you tell me, is the dog of Mr. Ramesh or Mr. Neighbor? Obviously the dog's owner is Mr. and Mrs. Ramesh, and the dog is in change of position from Mr. Ramesh to Mr. Neighbor for some particular purpose that is for 10 days only. So this here there comes the concept of bailment, that as and when this 10 days are over, the dog is again shifting back to whom? To Mr. and Mrs. Ramesh. Okay. Now I hope you have understood these three examples. Now let's see our book. What is there? We have one more example, I'll tell you, and then we go ahead with the book. Okay, now what has happened is this is Mr. Potter. No, not Potter. You can say Harry. Mr. Harry. Mr. Harry has a book. This is a book which he has. Okay. He wants to send this book to Mr. Mukesh, his friend. What he decides is he sends this book through the DTDC. You know DTDC courier? DTDC courier. Okay, that means he has given the book. Okay, he has given the book to the DTDC counter. Okay, and the DTDC counter needs to send it to Mr. Mukesh. Here also comes a concept called bailment. Now, what are the different examples of bailment contract? See, the first one is the repair, which we already read. Second one is the tailor, that also we completed. Then comes goods given to a friend for his use without any charge. Okay, that is also bailment. X delivers goods to the Blue Dart for carriage. That is also, I said you one example of the DTDC. That is also an example of the bailment. Now let's see some relevant questions. It says examine whether the following constitute a contract of bailment under the provisions of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Okay, so the first one is saying about what it's saying about V parks his car at the parking lot, locks it and keeps the key himself. Okay, let me explain this example. Now, what has happened? What has happened? Let's see. Now, this is Mr. V. Okay, this is Mr. V. He has a car. Okay, he went to a mall. This is a mall. He went. Okay, there what he did is he kept the car inside the parking lot. Lot. Parking lot. Fine. And one thing he did is he kept the car in the parking lot. And what he did? And he gave the keys of the car to the person in charge. Person in charge. Okay. That means what he did? He has delivered the goods or handed over the goods with the keys to the person in charge. Whenever required in the parking lot, he can change the car from one place to another, so that to avoid traffic jam, right? So the keys are being delivered to Mr. Person in charge. So what does it say? It says about bailment. Okay. Now, one more thing. Mr. Let's see what is their example. V parks his car at a parking lot, locks it and keeps it with himself. Okay. Now you see, example has changed. Okay. Now, example I'm changing. What he did is Mr. V parks it in the parking lot. Parking lot. This is the car he parked. Okay. But kept the keys. Keys are with him. Keys are with him only. Do you think that this is bailment? Do you think this is bailment? No. Big no. This is bailment. Yes. Why? Because the keys are also in the hands of Mr. Person in charge. That means there is change in possession of goods. In this situation, case 1. This is case 2, which I said. This is the example which we have in the book. This is the example which I wanted to say you. Please make a note. Okay. So there is no bailment in the second scenario. No bailment. Why? Because the keys are in the hands of Mr. V only. V has kept the car in the parking lot and kept the keys in with him. If he keeps the keys with him, then what is the use? What is the use? You say me. Does their concept comes bailment? What does bailment say? Bailment says about very important thing. That is, first thing, there is delivery of goods. Okay. From what? From one person to another. For what? For a specific purpose. As and when the purpose is accomplished, the goods are returned. Any of the criteria is satisfying here? No. Here, keys are not being transferred from one person to another. Okay. There is no specific purpose. There is no change in possession of the goods. Okay. Then how there can be bailment? Hence, it is said that it is not called as bailment. Remember, this scenario, case 1 is bailment. Case 2 is no bailment. Got it? Okay, let's see. No, mere custody of goods does not mean possession of goods. You see, mere custody of goods does not mean possession of goods. In the given case, since the keys of the car is with V, section 148 bailment of the Indian Contract Act will not be applicable. These are some cases which they come in exam. If you are able to see, these are some things which we come across every day. We do not know that this is a contract of bailment, this is a contract of indemnity, or this is pledge. But we are doing it in a everyday basis, right? Okay, next, seizure of goods by the custom authority. Seizure of goods means locking the goods or sealing the goods so that the goods will not be used forever. until unless the case is resolved, right? So it is saying seizure of the goods by custom authorities. So when there is seizure of the goods, like for example, what happens is, okay, there is seizure of goods, okay, seizure of goods, okay, by custom authority. What does it do? Now what has happened is, this is house your house, and you have kept many black money items, okay, like gold and cash, biscuits. Biscuits means gold biscuits, okay, and ornaments. And what has happened is, you are not showing in the income tax about these all items. Then obviously at a point of time, sometimes the authority or the government can do a raid on your house or business. So as and when the authority came and done a raid, okay, the authority government came and did a raid on your house and found that there is gold, there is money, there is cash, there is ornaments and many other things inside, like, inside the wall. They have broken the wall, everything you see in movies now. In the same way, okay, they found it, and what they did is sealed they put a seal. See how they put a seal. They put a seal and put a plaster there and say your house is on seal, or the seizure is done, and they take back all the goods in the possession of government. So when this is the scenario, do you think there is bailment? Yes, ma'am, there is bailment. How? Because first thing, there is transfer of goods from one person to another. Yes. Second, what has happened? The goods are being used for a purpose. Okay. Next, as and when the purpose is accomplished, it is returned to the owner. So the same concept here, right? So if you see these conditions are accepting, in every particular case you need to write yes or no bailment and give the reasons for what. Okay, understood everyone? Okay, so here, yes, the possession of the goods is transferred to the custom authorities, to the custom authorities. To the custom authorities, and therefore there is bailment which is existing in section 148, which is applicable. Got it? Fine. Next question, let's read. As and when we are doing questions, I think you are understanding more depth about the particular concept of bailment. So the next question is, what? Mrs. A delivered her old silver jewelry to Mr. Y, a goldsmith, for a purpose of making a silver bowl out of it. Okay, what has happened is, Mr. A has delivered the old jewelry to Y, okay, a goldsmith. So it is a baler, this is Bailey, and this is the goods. Fine. For what? For the purpose of making a silver bowl. Okay. that old jewelry, they have to make, they want to make it into a new version, that is a silver bowl. Okay, every evening she used to receive the unfinished good, that is silver bowl, to put into a box kept at Mr. Y's shop. So what has happened is, every evening she used to receive the unfinished goods to put it into a box kept at Mr. Y's shop. She kept the key of the box with herself. She kept the key of the box with herself. One night, silver bowl was stolen from the box. Was the contract of bailment, was it the contract of bailment, whether the possession of the goods, actual or constructive, delivered, constitute the contract of bailment or not? Now you say me that what has happened, she kept the goods, okay, that unfinished silver bowl in a box in Wise shop. But what happened is, in the key what she had, no, she took it for it. She took it. She didn't keep it in Wise hands. If she would have kept it in Wise hands, then what? It will be contract of bailment, and she can also ask why that you give me back the goods. Because the key was in her hand, Mrs. A's hand, then there is no bailment. Okay, so here you see, in this case there is no contract of bailment, as Mrs. A did not deliver the complete possession of the goods by keeping the keys in with herself. Done. So this is also one small example about an bailment. Now let's understand what are the different essentials required for a contract of bailment. Section 148. What we read is section 148, and we are also reading the extension or some things which are required. Why do you say that it is 148? Why do you say it is bailment? Okay, so the first one, it should be a contract, and this contract can be express or implied. Everyone underline express or implied. No consideration is necessary to create a valid contract of bailment. There is nothing such that there should be a consideration. With consideration, without consideration, it can be done. Next, that should be very necessary is delivery of goods. If you don't deliver the goods, there will never be a bailment. So it involves the delivery of the goods from one person to another person for a some purpose. Okay, bailment is only for a movable goods and never for immovable goods or money. Okay, if you see that bailment, see, very important here, it is only, remember this one, this may be a question MCQ. Can bailment be allowed or able to be used in for immovable goods? Yes or no? Okay. True or false also can be asked. So you have to say that bailment can be used only for the movable goods only, not for immovable items or money. Fine. The delivery of the possession of the goods is of the following kinds. How the delivery of the possession is done? It can be actual delivery, it can be constructive delivery. Actual delivery means what? Actual delivery means when the goods are physically handed over to the bailee by the bailer. Okay, for example, delivering the car, the first example, delivering the car, okay, to the repair, to the workshop or the service center, is what? You are personally going and delivering it to the bailee and giving the keys. Constructive delivery means what? Constructive delivery means where the delivery is made by doing anything that has been effect of putting goods in possession of the bailee or of the person authorized to hold them on his behalf. So actual delivery is what? Delivering the car for the repair of the workshop. repaired to the workshop. And constructed delivery is what? It is delivering of the key of the car to the workshop dealer for repair of the car. Okay, you see, small difference only. This one is delivering the car, here delivering the key of the car. Okay, so next is purpose. The goods are delivered for a some purpose, as the purpose is accomplished, they are returned back. It can be express purpose or it can be implied. Possession, as you see, possession is very very necessary. If you don't have the change in possession of the goods from which can happen by a physical delivery or by any action, then there can't be a bailment. Okay, so the bailment means possession of goods changes, and the change in possession can happen by the physical delivery or by any action which has an effect of placing the order in the possession of the bailee. The change in possession does not lead to change in ownership. Remember these words, it is not change in ownership. The owner remains the same of the goods, but there is change in possession for some particular time period. In bailment, bailer continues to be the owner of the goods. Where a person in the custody without the possession, he does not become a bailee. So this is required. Where a person in a custody without the possession of the goods, then he cannot be the bailee. Okay, let's see the example. What does the example say about? Example here is one example which saying about a servant of a master. Let's read it and then I'll explain you. The servant of a master who is in custody of the goods of the master does not become the bailee. Okay, similarly, depositing ornaments in the bank locker is not bailment. What is it? It is saying depositing bank ornaments in the bank locker is not bailment. You remember this one. I'll tell you example. Hmm. Okay, now what has happened is this is you can say Mr. Reddy. Okay, Mr. Reddy is having some ornaments, bangles, then you have necklace, then you have, you say waistband, rings, silver items, all these things he has is Mr. Reddy plus Mrs. Reddy. Okay, now what happens is Mr. Reddy has decided to go to a trip to Dubai for 15 days. Okay, and for 15 days he can't keep these ornaments in his house. Okay, now what he decided is he wants to keep it in a bank. This is ABC Bank. He went to the bank because he has already an account in the bank. He said, bank, I need a locker. Then the bank said, you need to give all the details related to it, and you need to have a minimum deposit of some 10 to 20,000. If you have it in your savings account, then as soon as possible within a day you will get a locker system. Okay, so he got, and these all things he gave it to the bank, and he got the locker facility. So this is the locker facility he got. Now the next day he took his wife, and both of them went to the bank, and they took this box to the bank, this box to the bank, and kept it in the locker. As you know, in the locker you have two keys, right? You have two keys, remember? One key is the of the bank and other key is of yours. That means until unless you do not put the both the keys, the locker box will not open. So to make it more safety, more secured, the bank has provided one key to the customer, that is Mr. Reddy and Mrs. Reddy, right? So these people were very happy that they got the locker, and they kept the box with all the bangles, with all the rings, all the silver items, all the way, all the necklace, all the, like, bracelet, gold items, all the things which they do not want to carry it to Dubai, they kept it in the locker, which is very safe, right? Say they kept it in the locker. Now as they kept it, this box is kept in the locker, and they have got the key, they have got the key back to themselves. Now you tell me, does this situation called bailment? Is it bailment? You think once, think already somewhat like this situation we have read. Is this situation called bailment? No, ma'am. This is not called bailment. Why is not called bailment? Mere custody of goods is not called that possession of the goods has been changed. No, only giving the goods in that particular place and not giving the key to the bank is not bailment, right? So when you see that keeping the ornaments in the bank is not bailment, why? Because there is no change in possession of the goods, because you have already having the key. If by mistake bank is having a theft, and these all locker things, all the items are also being theft, then you cannot argue the bank and say that you are responsible for it. No, because you had kept the key with yourself, the bank cannot open and keep it in the safe side. So this is not called bailment. Understand, boys and girls? Okay, this is not called bailment. Now, so see, that is what, read it here. Depositing the ornaments in the bank locker is not bailment, because the ornaments are kept in the locker whose key are still with the owner and not with the bank. The ornaments are in the possession of the owner, though kept in the locker at the bank. That means the custody, mere custody is not required. Mere custody plus the what? Plus the possession of the goods are required for making the bailment accept. Then next is return of the goods. What is return of the goods? As and when this the purpose, special purpose is accomplished, it has to be returned back to the owner, or it has to be discharged according to the owner, according to the bailor's direction, or according to the owner's way. Fine. So that's what it's given. The bailee is obliged to return the goods physically to the bailor. The goods should be returned in the same form as given, or may be altered as per the bailor's direction. It should be noted that exchange of goods should not be allowed. There should not be any exchange of goods. Bailee cannot deliver some other goods, even not of those higher value. Deposit of money in the bank is not bailment, since the money returned by the bank would not be identical in the notes. Now I'll give you another example. Now this example is about deposit of goods, sorry, deposit of money, sorry, of money in bank is the scenario. Okay, now what has happened is, this is Mr. Shriek. Mr. Shriek. Mr. Shriek has 5 lakh rupees with him in cash. What he did, he wanted to keep it safe, so he went to the bank and deposited this rupees 5 lakhs to the bank. Now you tell me, after after 2 months, what happened is Mr. Shriek wanted this 5 lakhs back from bank. Will he get the same 5 lakh rupees note, the note which he deposited with the serial number of 22289895 and onwards? Will he get the same note? Will he get the same color, like, same new notes which he deposited? Will he get the note which had the small signature of SRIK? Will he get it? No. No, he will not get those notes. He will not get the same notes. Hence, the deposit of money in the bank is not a concept of bailment. Because bailment says that the return of the goods should be the same goods, not of any lower category or of the higher category. Okay, if the deposit is done of rupees 1000 rupees note, in the same way it should be returned. If that is returned, then it is called bailment. If it is not returned the same way, then it is not bailment. Fine, understood everyone? Okay. So that was about the different elements which are required for a bailment to be done. So what we did is we understood various examples. I think we understood some 10 examples. One is the car example. Then we understood about the keys example. One, we understood about the car repairs. One, we understood about the keys example. One, we understood about the tailor example. One, we understood about the DTDC courier example. Then we understood fifth one, we understood is about the money deposit in the bank. Sixth, we understood about if seizure of the goods. Seventh, we understood is like what was it? The jewelry we understood. Key, okay, the key kept. Then we understood that when ornaments are kept in the bank locker, then how it is. These are all things we read. So I request that you make these examples like this, write it besides is it yes, no, and so. And when you have time, bring out different situations in your mind and start analyzing this is bailment or not. Then you get a clarified approach in your brain, and then you can go ahead and understand more effectively. Okay, till then, keep smiling always, be positive, stay happy, stay safe, very necessary in these days. And study well, revise, recall, and rewind. Tata, signing off. Bye bye.